Hi, I'm Beck, and sometimes I use a bank card to scrape in the little nooks of the margarine tub to get the last little bits of butter out. Also very, very effective if you want to get the little inside the tomato sauce bottle. You scrape the little things out and you've got yourself almost a full serving.
Hi, I'm Indi, and my fridge is dying a slow and painful death, and I'm not getting it fixed or replaced, so you might hear it in excruciating pain during this episode.
And this is Cheapskates.
Beck, that is a disgusting tip.
Thank you, Indiana.
With the tomato sauce.
Yes.
Where are you scraping tomato sauce from?
It's like where you twist the lid, and you know how there are some grooves, and then you get under or in between the grooves because there really is always sauce trapped in there.
Oh, I see.
You know?
I hate tomato sauce. So
I know you don't like tomato sauce. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have used that.
Disgusted thinking about it. And then it's on your bank card. I'm never going to be able to touch your bank card.
You just lick it off, or you just wipe it straight onto whatever you're eating.
Disgraceful. So you're getting what, a whole other one more serving? How many servings extra are you getting?
I think you'd probably get one, but it's still like if you're really in a tight spot, especially with the butter. I feel like the butter more so, but like the sauce, you can't really get that much unless you're spreading that onto your burger bun. But otherwise, you don't get much. But it's something, you know.
I'm wondering if there's a place that you can rock up to and just get samples. So could you walk into like a hotel that does a buffet breakfast and pretend you're staying in there and then just swipe a couple of butters and tomato sauces?
They're very strict with their buffet breakfast these days. They make sure you have a room and you have a room key, but you can absolutely go to a cafe or even like, you know, your Gloria Jeans, which we don't go to. Maybe they don't exist anymore. I don't know. But you know, they have the little sugar sachets, things like that. I remember Macca's used to keep their butters at the front. I don't think they do that anymore.
I bet they don't.
Years ago. So, but there are places, I think more so like salt and sugar you can really just get from anywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Times are tough when you can't get free butter. It's cost of living crisis.
I mean, that's really like, it's showing our age that we could once get free butter. Well, it wasn't free. It's still stealing. But
what is stealing?
Who owns stealing? The butter? Who owns it? It's all from the world. It all comes from the earth.
All comes from the cow.
All comes from the cow.
Who's fed from the grass.
Yes, and I think that cow gets to decide if we can have the butter.
And you're joining Peter. Congratulations. Well done. Okay, we have a cheapskate story for you.
Yes.
That I'm bringing to you today. It's a story about a local newspaper, nepotism, and some light embezzlement.
Okay.
So Jess is a journalist who's been working as a journalist for about 10 years. She's been in and out of newsrooms for pretty much 10 years, and she's seen the industry change quite a bit because cost cutting, you know what it's like. Sometimes, a lot of the time, she's only moving jobs because she was part of the cost cutting. And of course, when you've got to free up some cash, the first thing you do is get rid of the actual people who do the work.
Of course.
But now it's 2018 and she's just got a new job as a senior journalist at a newspaper in like a small city, big regional town of like 100,000 people.
Okay.
So this is like a big job for her, and she's like reporting directly to the editor. And if, you know, she sits in this job for a bit, that's probably like where she'll end up next.
Yes.
So part of this new job, she's the only senior journalist, and she also gets to train up a couple of the cadet journalists that they have, which is, you know, very much cost cutting, but she doesn't mind it because she's like giving back to her peers, her younger peers. On her first day at the newspaper, she gets a tour of the building, and it is humongous. It's this massive building. And as they take her around, she realizes that the newspaper now only uses this very small part of the building.
Okay.
Just one side. They use a couple of the offices and mainly more of the floor space. And the rest of the building isn't really used. She still gets a tour of it. There's like more than half of the building, which is just, it kind of looks like it's been abandoned. Like there's old desks, there's typewriters, printers. It's so sad. Chairs. It's pretty much like where they put all their junk, and it's like ghosts of print media's past.
I see. Typewriters.
Yeah. And it's kind of like she finds it a bit creepy around the building because no one goes there. It's very dark. I mean, you got to especially go find the lights. And it's just It's just a reminder that print media is dying.
Yeah, okay. Do you know that the building we used to work at was haunted? It was a bit creepy.
Yes.
There was a time where I went in, it was like 9 o'clock at night. I don't know why, I can't remember why I had to go there at night.
Scary.
And I could hear someone tapping the mouse to the tune of Make My Way Downtown. They were singing.
Where was
My Way Downtown.
Where was the mouse? Where was this happening?
I could hear it on one of the desks.
Oh, that's creepy.
Really creepy. They were really in time.
I like that you hear it's like, this is so scary. Oh, Vanessa Carlton.
Oh, that's who it is.
Fast.
Oh my God, I couldn't remember the name. Yes.
Maybe they were a piano player in their past life.
I think they probably were.
Okay, moving on. One day during her first month, Jess is sitting at her desk, tapping away, writing a story, and then the general manager, Michael, approaches her. Michael is a bit of a grey fox. He always wears a nice suit.
Sexy.
He will sit down in chairs and kind of man spread, and he walks around like he owns the place. Now, he doesn't own the place. He's a general manager of a newspaper that's part of a much bigger corporation, but you know, and he's a busy guy. He's always running from one meeting to the next. Just based off this, do you have any assumptions about Michael?
I think he's probably not very socially aware or spatially aware, or like I just can't imagine if I told him that I really like, you know how I have to I have to get people to blow into my glass before they put water in it, or they have to rinse it or something, just 'cause I get a bit scared of dust. And so my friends and you would remember that and do that every time without thinking. I can't imagine if I told him that he would firstly absorb it, or even, but certainly never, ever think to do that. I don't even think he'd even get me a glass of water. But if he did, he would never remember that. That's the kind of guy he is. He's not seeing you. He's seeing how you see him. You know?
Oh, very deep. But he's not very accommodating.
No.
I'm kidding. Okay, great.
Sorry, that's the,
TLDR, not accommodating.
Exactly.
Yes.
And no, exactly. Not considerate.
Yes. So Michael's on his way off to another meeting when he quickly stops by Jess's desk and says, "Oh, I've got another cadet journalist for you. It's my friend's kid. He'll be in next week. Look after him," kind of thing. And before Jess can be like, "Oh, like, is this a conversation or are you just telling me?" Because she's already got 2 cadet journalists she's looking after. She's the senior journalist. Like, she's got work to do.
She's got things on.
Now she's got things on.
Yeah.
Now she's got to have another kid that she's got to look after who doesn't want to be there probably, and it's just he's got the job because of nepotism. How do you feel about nepotism in the workplace?
I think when I'm benefiting from it, I love it.
Classic. No problems with nepotism.
Absolutely no problems.
Love privilege when it's my own.
That's it. And I remember one time my best friend, her family's very well off, and her dad is a doctor. And after I got a vaccine once, he told me to come and sit in this comfier room, and everyone got really angry. Everyone in the waiting room got angry. And so I was like, oh my God, I know what it feels like now to be a nepo baby because I'm friends with the wealthy. And so in that moment, I felt like, fuck yeah, you know? I was like, I'm living the dream. This is incredible. And so I can imagine if you are, I think I'd be pissed off if my mum was famous and she could get me a job as an actor. I would be pissed off if she didn't. So I can definitely see both sides. But as someone who doesn't have a lot of ins, doesn't have a lot of like, no one can just like get me in to where I want to go. It also pisses me off on this end too, because I'm like, there are some people that you're not seeing. You're not seeing me because you got this guy, you know, over here.
Yeah.
So I can see both sides.
I do love that your nepotism is getting a comfy chair after getting a vaccine. Some people are like their nepotism is getting jobs, getting government positions.
Yes.
Being gifted houses, tax fraud. And you're like, yeah, comfy chair after an injection. You and your privilege, Beck, I tell you what.
I know. I did feel it was really uncomfortable.
The next week rolls around and Jess meets her new cadet journalist. His name is Sterling, and Sterling is about a 20-year-old uni student. Now, Jess didn't have high expectations for Sterling. Obviously, it's the boss's friend's kid, but she is pleasantly surprised. He genuinely wants to be there. He works very hard, and out of the 3 cadet journalists she's looking after, he's by far the best.
Okay.
And she actually likes him. He's like a nice kid. But after a couple of weeks of working with Sterling, there's a problem that arises. He sometimes just like disappears throughout the day. There will be hours and hours where he's just gone.
Mhm.
And it's starting to become such a problem because Jess will give him a job to do by the end of the day, and then he's just gone for the hours, and then she's got to stay back and do this job that she needed done by the end of the day. And the other cadet journalists are like, where's Sterling? Why hasn't he done this job? So it's getting so bad that Jess thinks the easiest way is just to talk to Michael about it. Just mention it to Michael, but she doesn't know how it's going to go down because nepotism.
Of course.
And she's new in the job. She sees Michael in the office one day, and obviously he's not in the office a heap because he's busy with his meetings. So when she sees him, she's like, palms are sweaty, and she just calls him over and says, Michael, like, loving working with Sterling. He's great. I think he's going to be a great journalist one day. One problem is he just disappears sometimes, and it's becoming quite an issue for the workplace, and I've got to know where he is at all times. Like, if he goes missing, I need to know. I'm essentially his boss. And Michael just kind of throws it away and says, oh, don't worry. Like, I get him sometimes to do jobs for me, so don't stress.
Okay.
And she says, no. Can you tell me if you're going to take Sterling away to do a job, you need to tell me because I need to know where he is, or I need to change the work around. So that's fine, but tell me.
Yes.
He's like, yeah, of course, whatever. He has no respect for Jess. She's dirt, you know?
That's what I'm saying. He's not going to remember anything she says.
And so he just kind of leaves out the door. Have you ever done a disappearing act at work?
Literally constantly all the time. At an old job I worked at, all the time I was leaving. I was doing my laundry at the laundromat. I would have a random idea that I want to maybe I want to go do some pottery. And then I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, it's 2:00. I'm getting out of there. I'm going to go do some pottery. And I'm not coming back until tomorrow morning, if that. You know what I mean? All the time, you know. Sometimes I'd go in only to say hi to everyone, do a loop, get out of there again. Always disappearing. So, man, that was the dream. And so now, no, never.
Bugger. So the next time Sterling's in, Jess is like, oh, I've heard you've been doing some jobs for Michael. And Sterling says, oh, yeah, it can be really hard sometimes when I'm here, when I'm midway through a journalist job, and then Michael sends me off to do something else. And Jess said, yeah, can you just let me know when you're about to head out for a Michael job? And Sterling is so apologetic. He's like, oh, my gosh, I'm so sorry. Hasn't Michael spoken to you about this? Like, haven't you organised this together? And Jess says, no, that's fine. Oh, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I've spoken to Michael about it now, but just let me know. She just thinks easy. Communication is key. Now she knows she's spoken to Sterling about it. She's spoken to Michael about it. Not a big issue. Everybody seems like it's all sorted. Now, a few months into the job, Michael calls an all-staff meeting. And usually all staff meetings when you're working in media,
not good.
Not good. Not
Juicy,
a good day.
though.
Juicy, yes. And Jess has been part of these meetings several times over. And Michael announces there's going to be a few cost-cutting measures. If you were the general manager of a newsroom, of a local newspaper, where would you cut costs first? What would you get rid of?
Are they only journalists?
I don't like, you'd have probably IT, you've got a general manager, there'd be someone doing sales, there's maybe promo people, I don't know.
I'd be getting rid of the food and drink is what I'm doing. I'm getting rid of the fucking typewriters that is sitting there for no reason for years and years and years. You know what I mean? I'm going to try and do that first, I think.
Sell off the old dead stock.
Yeah. And then I'd probably get rid of myself. It doesn't seem like I'm doing much. Like, do we have a car park? I'm getting rid of that.
We have a car park. It's gone.
It's gone.
You would be a good boss.
Thank you. I think so too. I think I would be very, very, very equitable.
And you'd never be at work. You'd be off doing pottery.
Never. No one would ever feel stressed or micromanaged. I would never be there. So don't worry about me.
Amazing boss. Love it.
You know?
Now, in this all-office meeting, Michael explains that, yes, there's some cost cutting. First thing off is there's a work car. Now, the work car is used, the journalists use and the photographer use every time they need to go to a job. Nope, no more using the work car. They might eventually sell it off, but for now, it's only for emergencies and it has to be signed off by Michael before you use it. If you're going to go on a job, you have to take your own car. So people are like, damn, now I've got to pay our own petrol to do our job.
Yeah.
Annoying.
But also it doesn't feel like it's saving that much money. I'm like, sell the car makes sense.
You're right. They've got fucking typewriters and desks and chairs to sell. There are a few other things like no more biscuits in the kitchen and they're not going to be buying tea. So all they get is tea and biscuits. No, that's cut. No printing personal documents. Petty stuff like that. And also some of the old offices on the side of the building that nobody uses, they're going to be subleasing some of those rooms for small businesses. So they say, stay out of their way, you know, whatever.
Totally.
Jess is a bit like, wow, this is actually not the worst all office meeting that I've had.
Yes.
But usually this does end up getting worse. But, you know, a bit petty, but unscathed. It's print media in 2018. Oh, well, we'll do without the biscuits.
Totally. That's so fine.
One day she's working on a story and she has to go into town to do an interview and she's got Sterling sitting next to her. So she says, Sterling, come with me. You can come help me with this interview. So they drive into town together.
Mm-hmm.
After they finish up and they're driving back to the office, Sterling says, hey, do you mind if we drop past Michael's house? I've got to pick up something from there. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. But you've got to have to direct me where he lives because I've got no idea. And he directs her till eventually they turn into this beautiful part of town she's never been to, obviously because the only reason you would go here is if you live here and it's where the wealthy people live.
Got you.
Beautiful houses on huge property, green grass.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually they turn off into this driveway, which is this big winding driveway with like fruit trees on either side. And as they drive up, this big, beautiful Federation-style house arrives in front of her eyes and she thinks, gee whiz, this is nice.
That's what I'm saying. You know, why you don't have to cut biscuits if you got a house like that.
Exactly.
You buy it with your own money.
Jess is like, wow, this is, you know, such a beautiful home. Sterling says, oh, yeah, it's pretty nice, isn't it? Like, I'd love to have a life like Michael's, be able to buy a house like this and you pretty much just golf all day. That'd be great. Anyway, I'll run inside and Jess sees Sterling disappear inside of the house and she's sitting there thinking, golf all day? What does he mean by golf all day? Now, it's not too long. Like, she doesn't get to sit with the thought for very long because Sterling comes outside of the house pretty quickly with a toolbox and he hops back in the car. When he does hop back in the car, play it cool because she doesn't want to push too much. After all, this Sterling got the job through Michael. But she says, yeah, Michael playing golf all day. What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
You know, she's trying to keep it as casual as possible.
Yeah.
She's a journalist. She's got a nose for this thing.
Absolutely.
Sterling says, oh, yeah, he plays golf with my dad a couple of days a week.
Okay.
Jess is like, interesting. So these meetings must be on the golf course. What do you think about, do you think that golf can be business?
God.
Or you can do business on the golf course?
You can do business anywhere, I reckon. I just think there's nothing more like embarrassing, like not embarrassing, but like wanky than doing these things. It's like this contrived, like this like forced experience with someone. It's not really bonding if you're like, you know, I'd rather sit down and have a coffee and then like actually talk about it, you know, rather than like, let's have fun together.
I do sometimes think that golf, like I've played it a couple of times. I'm trying to get into golf.
Yeah.
But golf is for people who don't hold any mental load.
Yes.
Because by like round 3, I'm like, this is taking forever and I've got a list of things that I have to do and I'm so anxious that there's a million holes to go.
I know. And yet the list is piling up because as you go, the more you're doing nothing, the more you remember what you have to do.
Yes.
It still feels like if someone took me out to schmooze me so that they could have my money, there's something about that that's annoying. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Oh, just like ask me what you want.
Totally.
It's annoying. It feels annoying or something, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, but I'm sure it can be done.
I think you'd like Jess because she's like a no-nonsense girl. She's trying to get shit done. Now, at the end of the week, Sterling approaches Jess and he says, sorry, Michael's not here. Can you sign off on my timesheet? And she's like, no worries. Just pop it on my desk. I'll sign it. Thanks for the week. See you next week kind of thing. He leaves and Jess signs off on it, doesn't really look at it, takes it into Michael's desk, and only when she puts it on the pile of paperwork does she realise that something is wrong. Really wrong.
Okay.
What do you think has happened?
I think that Michael is using Sterling as a caddy. So there's 4 hours of caddying on the timesheet.
Jess has signed off on Sterling's timesheet. She puts down the pile of paperwork and she realises she signed off on 5 full days of work.
Yes.
And Sterling does 2 days. And some days he's not there for the full 2 days because he's disappearing.
Yes.
But it's not just that. When she digs into the pile of paperwork, she realises that most of Sterling's timesheets are almost full-time hours and he does not work full-time. It sort of almost looks like they're hours around his uni hours. So say he does like 12 contact hours of uni, say he does a Monday morning and a Thursday afternoon, he works pretty much full-time around that according to his timesheet.
I see.
Is not what he's been doing.
I see.
As far as she's aware. But then, because it's the last thing on a Friday and there's not that many people there, she keeps digging through the piles of timesheets and she finds a stack of timesheets for a girl under a girl's name for as a full-time cadet journalist. When she looks at the name, she recognizes it and realizes this is Michael's daughter with timesheets of working as a full-time cadet journalist, and they date back over a year.
Okay.
But she doesn't work there. She's never worked there. She doesn't even live in this town anymore. She's in the big city doing uni.
Yes.
So Jess is like, interesting. Let me just quickly call Sterling and clear a few things up. So
Yes.
she gets Sterling on the phone. They're pretty good. They've got a pretty good relationship. And she says, hey, I'm happy to sign off on your timesheet for the 2 days, but there's, 3 extra days that I can't sign off on. Like, I won't be able to do that. Can you tell me who you worked for in those hours and I'll get them to sign off on it? And he says, oh, that's when I'm doing stuff for Michael. Sorry, I thought you knew all of this stuff. She's like, no, sorry, that's fine. Like, I'll get Michael to sign off on it. Just out of interest, what kind of work are you doing it for Michael? And he says, oh, I'm doing like his odd jobs. Like, they've been renovating their house, so I'll just go and do some fixer-upper things. I'm mowing his lawn, just things like that. And she's like, okay, thanks, Sterling. See you next week. Have a great weekend. Sorry to call you on a Friday afternoon. And she hangs up and she's like, we can't afford biscuits.
Oh, my God.
But we can afford to pay for Sterling to be doing odd jobs at Michael's house and be paying full-time.
Oh, what a dog.
For Michael's daughter. Now, it's the end of the day on a Friday.
Yeah.
Most people are going home. The office is nearly empty. You're in Michael's office with paper trails of stuff. What do?
I'm fucking yapping. I'm telling everyone in the world about this. And then by Monday, the whole office is going to know. And we're going to be angry. And then I guess we can't do anything about it. We'll just go back to work. But I think that maybe someone braver than me will say something. But I am at the very least yapping. And this is what I think. Workplaces always get, this is sort of off topic, isn't it? But workplaces always get annoyed at gossipers and they don't like gossip in the workplace and they don't like gossip in the workplace. And I'm saying, if you don't like gossip in the workplace, don't do dodgy shit. And don't be so, what's the word? Corrupt. If a workplace is corrupt, then let us gossip. It's all we have. I'm getting the biscuits back though.
Well, Jess is a journalist, so she decides she's brave and she's going to dig into everything she possibly can on this Friday afternoon. She's in Michael's office and she's about to be alone, so she digs. And she finds that since Sterling has started, he's been working these full-time hours or being paid for the full-time hours. And he has actually been doing them at Michael's house. But the company's paying Sterling to mow Michael's lawns and do other various work. And when she adds up the total of Michael's daughter's full-time salary, she's being paid way more than the other cadet journalists.
Really?
Who actually do the work. Well, because they're getting paid for 2 days and she's getting paid for 9 to 5 hours.
Yes.
But she's never stepped foot in there.
Yes.
Jess doesn't stop there either. She decides she's going to go down to the car park and investigate the work car.
Okay.
And when she goes through the logbook, she realizes that nobody else is using this car. Except every now and then on a weekend, this work car is doing trips down to the big city where Michael's daughter lives and back. And it looks like this is someone's weekend car.
Oh, my God.
But while she's in the car park, she runs into one of the small business owners who's leasing out one of the offices in the other side of the building that nobody's supposed to go to. And it doesn't take her much probing to find out what's happened there. And no, there isn't some big drawn-up arrangement. It was just like a handshake and cash under the table, which is going straight into Michael's pocket.
Oh, my God. And when you were telling me, I was thinking, like, start there. Surely that's plenty. That's more than enough to keep the biscuits.
Yeah, and so this is what Jess has just found out in a couple of hours on a Friday afternoon.
Wow.
And eventually what does happen, it's like a few weeks or months later that Michael actually does end up leaving the business. So I don't know whether he gets found out that he's taking the piss or he is taking the piss because he knows he's going to leave. But my question for you, Beck, is Michael in the wrong? Because he's actually stealing from a much bigger media company that probably forget that this paper even exists. And he's not really taking that much from his staff. Other than the work car and the biscuits and the tea, is he in the wrong?
If he can set the salaries, he's in the wrong because everyone needs a pay rise for some reason. If all the things he's using, of all the resources he's using strictly on himself, he's in the wrong. And he's had the audacity to take the biscuits and the work car, he's in the wrong. But if it's like, okay, they've forgotten about us, we're working for a big company, like we can just take the piss here a little bit and we can like use their resources, I'm going to spread that around and be like, I could probably afford to like give everyone a pay rise. And then I can also afford to give my kids and I can't remember where Sterling comes in, nephew or something, a job, and then they don't have to come in, I just pay them. Sure. But he's not sharing this treasure that he's found and these little loopholes. He's just like using it all for himself. And if you can't give everyone pay rises, at the very least, let them keep the biscuits.
We're like okay to light embezzlement.
Yeah.
Not okay to taking the communal biscuits.
No, that's not okay.
Are you aware of the platform Cameo?
Yes.
So it's pretty much where like celebrities go on and you can buy a customized video from them.
Mm-hmm.
And prices range from like $20 to in the thousands.
Yep.
Beck, I'm going to give you a list of 5 Aussie celebs and I want you to rank cheapest to most expensive on Cameo, and I want you to give me a price range of what you think that all of these people are charging. Okay. First off, we have Schappelle Corby.
Oh my God, I was thinking Schappelle Corby. That's crazy.
Who is, of course, best known for her resin clock art.
Resin clock art.
And that's it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Muriel's sister, that's actually what she's named. She's the actress from Muriel's Wedding who says, "You're terrible, Muriel." And she will say that in a cameo for you.
Yes.
Australia's first bachelor and former Neighbours actor and former chiropractor, I think, Tim Robards.
Okay.
Jackie Gillies, one of the greatest housewives of all time.
Yes.
And a tortoise from Adelaide Zoo. Cheapest to most expensive. How do they rank?
Tim, bottom. I don't know who that is.
How much do you reckon he's a cameo from him cost?
$60.
So why Tim at the cheapest, do you think? He's Australia's first bachelor. And he's still with his partner. So they're almost like bachelor royalty.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's important context. I would say, but it's just only because like he's not in the ads. I think if he was still in, there are some maths couples that are still in ads. So like one of them's on a KFC ad, I'm pretty sure, or something.
Okay, bottom, Tim Robards. Who's next?
I'm going Muriel's sister next at $120.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going Jackie Gillies at $300. And then I'm going Schappelle Corby at $500. I'm going the tortoise at $600.
I'm so interested in what does the tortoise do? Because
I don't know.
On Cameo, sometimes you can give them messages to say, like, can you tell my sister happy birthday? Why do you think the tortoise is the most expensive?
Because of the novelty of it all. Now, there's something about zoo animals, the famous ones, like Mudang.
Yeah.
I was tempted, and I didn't, but I was tempted to see Mudang. And I think that I would probably, if Mudang was a wild animal, I'd pay thousands of dollars for Mudang to just like even have my name in the same frame as Mudang.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
So I think people think the exact same way as me.
Do you want to know the official ranking?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, the cheapest is $50.
Yes.
Schappelle Corby.
No, I would pay top dollar for Schappelle Corby.
She should be charging more than $50.
Absolutely. Schappelle, if you're listening to this, you should be charging way more than $50.
Absolutely. Tortoise from Adelaide Zoo is the second cheapest, $57. Just
really?
$7 more than Schappelle. Yeah. Now we're down to the final three. Muriel's sister, Tim Robards or Jackie Gillies.
Surely
Do you want to
Tim.
change?
Surely Tim.
Tim Robards at
Yes.
$64.
Oh my God, I said $60.
Number 4, Muriel's sister at $142, meaning Jackie Gillies, topping the most expensive list, $276.
Good for you, girl.
Who would you be purchasing if you
Schappelle. Any day of the week. I want to see those resin clocks.
Thank you so much for listening to Cheapskates.
Thank you so much. And, well, I think go live your life now. Go on. Get out of here. Please come back. You don't have to go anywhere as well. If I were you, I would be going straight on my phone, playing a little game or having a little scroll. So maybe you could do that. And get yourself some Uber Eats. Treat yourself. And thank you so much for watching and listening.
Bye.
Bye.